Hi, this is Jessica Javens Talk. Welcome. This is a podcast that will help you transform your life inside out into a life you truly love. Welcome to season one. Today we have a guest that I admire very much that's going to be helping us understand a little bit more about leadership. Please welcome Will Lukang. Hi, Will.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you for having me today. My name is Lukang, and we're going to be talking about leadership.
Yes, thank you so much for coming to the podcast today. I really appreciate being with you here again. We've worked before. He has a lot to share, and I know you guys cannot miss this episode until the end. Well, can you tell us just a little bit about you before we get started?
Sure. Uh, I have a 34-year experience working in the corporate, leading technology organization. But throughout my journey, I realized I'm passionate about people development, and that's including leadership. And early part of my career, I decided that I'm going to focus on my people. I'm going to focus on how to grow my people, and that's how I end up now. I I finally left the corporate. I started my own company doing leadership development and executive coaching, and I'm also doing public speaking. So looking forward to our conversation today.
Yes, thank you so much. I actually met Will last year, about a year ago or so. I was looking for material in leadership because Will knows I was in financial industry for almost 18 years in leadership as well, and everything he talks about, I am so passionate about. So let's get started here. I'm very excited. So the first thing I would love for you to share with our audience is what is for you the essence of leadership?
A very tough question, but I think the way I look at leadership at its core, it's about influence and service. When you get into a leadership position, it's not about the title. It's not even about the power or position that you're in. In the end, it's about inspiring people, guiding them, and helping them achieve their personal goal too. Yes, it is important to achieve your corporate goal, but as a leader, you're also a people developer. I would say true leadership is built on integrity, vision, and emotional intelligence. You notice a lot of good leader, they connect with people. They understand people, and I think it's important. The ability to understand and connecting with people is ultimately the key for a leader to be successful. I would say the best leaders don't just tell people what to do. They don't. They actually create this environment that allow and empower people and inspire them to grow.
I love that. I love that. And that's a skill set that does take time to build. They're beautiful words, but it's not that easy. So, what would you say, maybe based on your experience or what you've seen, is what makes a leader effective?
That's a very good question. It's a very hard question too. I think an effective leader is someone who understand both people and strategy, because you have the people that have to do the work for you and the company, and they're your best, most important asset, honestly. And understand the strategy of the organization, of what the organization wants to do and achieve, and learning how to balance the vision and execution. The end of ultimately at the core of it, we're talking about leaders who are self-aware, understand their own strengths and weaknesses, and know how to work through that and be humble. If there are things that they're really not good at, they know who to reach out to actually empower them to help them get that done. An effective leader is someone who's also adaptable. They adapt to every changing situation. It's easy to say you're a good leader when things are going so well. Sales are up, things are going well, there's no issue. But the best leaders are the ones that manage to inspire, motivate people when things are going wrong. And those are the leaders that you truly look up to. And the other characteristic I think is important is leader who have empathy. They understand their people. They know what their people are going through, and also compassion. I talked to someone about this yesterday. I was doing a recording, and compassion is extremely important in leadership. But ultimately, at the end of the day, decision making. A leader must be able to make decision not just by their own account. I would say that it's not about a leader knowing everything. A leader knows how to pull the right people, bring in the right people, and bring in their knowledge and expertise to work and collaborate together. Because sometimes I remember when I, early on in my career, I was wondering, to be a leader, you need to know everything. Like, that was my misconception. And I was like, it's really hard to be a leader because when someone asks you a question, you need to know the answer. But as I go through the journey, I realized it's impossible to know everything. So it's important to be humble enough to say, I'm actually not the expert in that space. However, we have someone, Jessica is the expert in health and wellness. So, Jessica, let's pull in Jessica. Let's pull in John. Let's pull in another person. Being able to do that and work with the team to achieve the common goal.
Wow, you just gave us a little a pack of gems here because that's amazing and it's so true. Like everything that you said, it resonates with me too, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this are resonating. And the ones who actually want to continue their growth path in their career, it's crucial that they know this information. I'm going to tell you that in the last couple of years, the quick to adapt is really big. I think it's bigger than ever before. Things have never changed this fast. You agree with me? Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So us
Because
being able, yeah,
the only thing that's constant in life is change, right? We learned that over time.
yes,
So your ability to adapt to change ultimately allows you to help your team to be successful. I
yes.
absolutely agree with you.
Yes. And you know, it's interesting too because if you adapt to it, your stress level is going to be lowered. So you'll be able to focus more on resolutions and finding the right path and also how to guide your team or your coworkers, you know, through those new waters. And if you are stressed and frustrated, then it's more difficult for you to be able to do those other steps. So it cripples you or maybe your team. So it's very important to understand that that's just part of the flow. Like you said, a constant, right? I love the part of compassion. You know, I am right now in South Florida. We have such a big diversity of people, and for you to have compassion, meaning understanding people from completely different backgrounds, completely different age brackets, and everything. So for you to be able to resonate, sometimes it takes time for you to understand the culture or the reasons why or the because of certain decisions or certain ways of handling things. So I think that's very, very important is to have compassion. And that's also a big sign of maturity. So I love everything that you said. Will, can you share a little bit about your story and leadership, about that whole journey that you've been through? Because you said 36 years?
34 years, 34
34,
years.
34. Wow, that's amazing. So tell us a little bit about that journey. What does that look like?
I would declare that I started not as a leader. And people talk about leaders are born, leaders are developed. I believe in both school of thought, and I'm more on the developed side. I started my career as a software developer, really good at the craft of being a software developer. And I got the opportunity, and I focused on learning the business when I was software developer. And when there was a management change, I was given the opportunity to lead my team. And at that point, I thought it was this climbing the ladder, you're getting promoted, you're moving up. But little did I know that I didn't know how to deal with my peers who are now reporting to me. We went from buddies to I'm their manager. And that transition was extremely hard because there are just boundaries that you used to like joke around and things like that. And now you're in charge of their delivery. And that transition was really hard for me. I went through a lot of growing pains, and as I went through that growing pain, I asked myself, like, what are things I could learn from other people? And unfortunately, I didn't realize about mentoring until another 6 years into my career. But
Wow.
once I learned about mentoring, my mentor actually told me that you could be successful, and but even though you're successful, people are not going to follow you. And actually, I went through that. Just to give you a short story, I was in charge of a big development of a software. uh, the CIO gave me the opportunity because he knows I'm really good at being a technologist, and I was given a team of nine people to work with me, and we have this big task of delivering this new software within like 8 months. And I know it was a stretch goal, but I was so focused that we should make the deadline. In fact, we actually, I think, delivered 6 weeks ahead of schedule. And after
Wow.
we delivered, there was a big celebration. I was so proud of myself. And I was given another big project. And I went around and talked to my team and said, "Can you work with me on this project?" They're like, "No, I don't want to work with you anymore." And I was like, "What do you mean? We're so successful. I'm successful. You don't want to work with me? How's that possible?" And then it dawned on me. And at first, I was upset. I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I'm very successful. You don't want to work with me?" But then I sat down and reflect on, there must be a reason why people don't want to work with me. There must be something I did. So I went this humility route. And I said, you know what? I want to know what happened. I want to know why they don't want to work with me anymore. Even if they don't work for me, I want to know why. So I did a one-on-one with all of them. And a lot of them said, you're so focused on the job and the work that needs to be done, you don't even see the people. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean I don't see I see you. I don't talk to you every day. But it's like I don't care about the people. And that's the part that I realized that delivering is one aspect of it, but how you deliver matter. How you make the people feel in your journey matter. And that was a big learning moment for me.
That's
From
amazing.
that point on, I said, I'm gonna learn to be a better leader. I went back to grad schools to get my second master's in strategic communication and leadership, and it opened my eyes on my mistakes and my weaknesses and what I need to develop. And that program is a year and a half. And when I graduate from it, I tell you, I'm a better person, a better leader,
Hmm.
a more caring leader. And that was sort of I would say the springboard for my being so focused on leadership. And from that point onward, yes, delivery is important. Do I want to climb the management ladder? Not so much my concern anymore, but focusing on people development become the core of what I want to do.
Wow, that's beautiful. For us to learn that way, it's a great opportunity, and it's funny because the way you were describing certain things, I resonated with that too, because like I am a very high achiever, so my tendency in the corporate world is to get the job done. When I get at home, is to make sure the house is clean and the dinner is done. Then I'll give attention to the people. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I have that inclination too, and it was years of experience and good feedback that gives you that opportunity. If you take that and you do something with it, then you can do extraordinary things. I love that. So, Will, can you share a story about how you help currently leaders to grow?
There's two ways I actually do it. One is through coaching, right? I think I work with them as a coach to help them reflect on the things that they're working on and enable them to think through the situation that they're in and challenge them with powerful questions. So that's one way. Another way is through mentoring. There are people that are more junior in the leadership route, and sometimes they don't see their talent. They just don't know that they have that talent. And my responsibility, I took it upon myself, is to seek and find talented people and work with them even when they don't think they're capable of doing it. I have a perfect example of this. This woman. I was asked to take over a department, and when I took over the department, there were 9 people reporting to the manager. They end up all reporting to me, and two of them were contractor, including this one female contractor. Usually in our organization, contractor doesn't report to the head of like the department. But when I took over, the manager said, "Yeah, they're just with me for 2 months. I just took over the role, but I found another role and I'm moving on." So it's up to you what you want to do. And I decided not to change anything. I decided to go in with an open mind and listen and understand. And as I work with her, I realized not only she's a quick learner, right? She also has a good relationship with everyone. Everyone likes to work with her. And therefore, what I did is she's very good in a particular area of the business. And I said to her after 6 months, I said, I want to move you to another area of the business. She's like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't know that area. She's like, I'm good in this area. I've been doing it for 11 years. I could do it in my sleep. I said, but that is not going to help you grow.
Right.
If you want to get promoted someday, right? I'm converting you to be an employee. If you want to get promoted, you need to know this other space. There are four or five area in which our business makes money. And if you only know one area, you might not be able to move up because you're gonna take on more responsibility. At first, she was very hesitant, and I had to have numerous discussions with her. I said, "I see your talent, and you might not see in yourself, but I want you to first trust me. Trust me. Give it a try. Let's do a 6 months trial, but I'll be supporting you every single step of the way." And she did. She said, "Okay, if you believe that I could do it," she took over that other area at first with a bit rocky because she's just getting her 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 knowledge and understanding of the area, building the rapport. But 4 months later, the area, all the business partner was like, she's the best. Why
Wow.
did you not think of this change long time ago? I said, I couldn't possibly think of the change long time ago because I was here in this role for 5 months, and she's only in her role for like 4 months, right? But it ended up being one of the success story. For that year, we have a promotion cycle, and I'm an executive director. I put her name up for promotion, and she got promoted. And
What
to
a
me,
beautiful
to me
story.
is the success story that I could tell people because I believe in her even before she believed in herself. And in fact, she said that, I didn't see myself in that light, but for some reason, you were able to see that. And to me, that's another aspect of me across my organization, no matter what level it is. I work with everyone, especially if you're talented and you want to move up. I really do one-on-one with them.
That's so beautiful. One of the things that I talk to my clients about is about borrowing somebody else's belief, because
Yeah.
sometimes we are not at that point capable yet in believing in ourselves. And I can tell you, I had several people in my life, looking back in different moments, that believed in me before I believed in me. And it's amazing when you actually allow them to help you and to show you, like you did, that person just, their life just advances so much. It's an incredible thing. And you cannot do that if you don't have the right support system. And that's why it's so important to have
Yes.
people like you that have this experience, is ready and specialize in coaching and mentoring, because that way the person, if they want to get to that point from A to B, they can get there much quicker because now they have all the help and the support that they need. I value that so much. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure a lot of people watching this can really connect to this, so thank you. um, Now I want to say something that I truly had a pleasure of doing last year, which is reading a book that you recently wrote. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because it was very exciting. It was a very easy to read book. I really enjoyed it. Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's the one. That's the one. And I've read so many books about leadership, and this was a completely different experience. So let's dive into that for a little bit. The name of the book is Seeds of Leadership. Can you give us an overview of that book, please?
The seed of leadership is a labor of love for me. I think a lot of the information I put in the book are experience that I had, experiment that I did in my career, and I felt it's important to share that message to other people. But I would say the seed of leadership aims to help leaders unlock their potential, because even though we're in a leadership position, we have some ways to go. Even sometimes we want to admit it or not, but we still have some ways to go. And sometimes I could see talented people struggle in leadership transition, and this book is a way of actually helping them unlock their potential and get through and be successful in their role. For the book, I actually focus on three pillars. I keep it simple. I use the power of three. Number one, in many ways, I realized in my journey, or many of the people that I interact with, when I ask them, if you look back in your career, would you be a leader? And some of them said no. I actually are not good in dealing with people. I rather not deal with other people. I rather focus on my own work. And I personally didn't know what the answer to is, because I just got moved up from one level to another and moved on to another company and got moved up. But I felt like it's a gift. It's a gift that if you embrace, it's a gift that's very rewarding. But one question I ask on my book is, before you embark on being a leader, ask yourself the question, are you willing to serve other?
Mm,
Because as we talk about, leadership is service and influence. And if you're not willing to serve other, then you won't be selfless enough to give your time, to dedicate your time. So really, number one, the first pillar, developing yourself, is around focusing on yourself, understanding your weakness and strength, even though you're willing to serve other, and how you grow yourself, and also anchor yourself in character.
mm,
Ultimately, integrity is very important. Leading with integrity. The second pillar is developing others. Now you want to be a leader and you develop yourself. You can develop other people. How do you develop other people? You need to be able to see potential in other people. You can't just develop the people. You need to be able to see their potential. You need to know how to challenge them. You need to how to coach and mentor them. And more importantly, you need to help them overcome challenges, because it's easy to lead, like I said, during good times. It's easy to lead people, but during challenging time, that's where leader rise above the occasion. And the last pillar that I focus on, because I look at leadership as a temporary state. We're just here holding the position for someone else. I don't look at leadership as permanent. So when I look at leadership, every time I'm in a role, few months later, who could take on this role? Who are the people that needs to move up? What's my succession plan? And to me, it's looking into the future. By looking into the future, I could bring people along. I could let them experience some of the things we're working on. I could put them in the spot to experience challenges and help and guide them to the process in order for them to be prepared. It's about sustainability of the organization in many ways.
that's amazing. That last part there is beautiful. It's really having that vision. It's very important for leaders to have, is to have that vision. Beautiful. Um, I can tell that you're wearing a T-shirt that has the name, and I would like you just to say a little bit about "I Will Aim."
I will aim. If my name happened to be on it, but it's not. That wasn't the primary reason. People always ask me. I will aim is an intentional purpose of living your life. It's about living your life, focusing on improving yourself on a day-to-day basis. In fact, the tagline is "Discover a better version of yourself." That was my tagline, and the reason why I use that, because my purpose is to help people. Not when you work with me or we work together that you're going to be a superstar. You are going to slowly evolve to be where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a magic pill that you take, magic potion that you put, then you're a leader. Leader is something that you focus on developing yourself. So I focus on the tag word, discover a better version of yourself.
Very good. Thank you. And for the people who have been watching us up until this point, if you had to leave them with one message, because this episode is really packed with information that is very, very, very valuable. But if you had to leave them with one thing as they hang up, what would you leave them with?
As a person, a leader, you cannot pour on an empty cup.
Mm,
You need to take care of yourself. You're also human. You want to help people, but you need to also be in a good state. You can't help others when you can't help yourself.
mm-hmm. Yep.
If you're tired, worn out, you're not 100%. You can't be there for your people. So make sure your cup is full or it's half full before you even pour on it.
Very good. Excellent. Very wise. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Will, a lot of people want to be able to know how they can get your book, how they can contact you, how they can reach you, how they can follow you. So, can you share that with us, please?
The best way to reach out to me is LinkedIn. I'm the only Will Lukang on LinkedIn. My book on Amazon, you could purchase it on Amazon. If you want a signed copy, I'll drop a link. I'll share it with you. I was also giving people the option of signed copy. Yes, LinkedIn's the best way to reach out to me.
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a guest on your show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you here. And if you're watching this episode, please make sure that you click on the like button, that you follow me, and that you subscribe. Okay. This is another episode of Jessica Javens Talk. And we are actually here by Forever Living, who is the best aloe vera juice in the world, who helped transform my wellness, and also produced by I Am Beast Network. So we see you on the next episode. And this is Jessica Javens Talk, and I am Jessica Javens. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females need you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me. 'Cause baby girl, you are so easily pretty. The only reason that I can do tonight is 'cause I know you were invited. The only reason that the stresses can type is 'cause I thought that you would like it. I'm only going for the secret outside.